have the companies that is operating, that is as seen in the early morning, and so we need to take this inclusive growth to happen. So basically what these SDGs, that is SDG 12 and SDG 8 combined together, this is the model that is we are looking for. We need an economic growth, but we need a good quality of life. And this life basically has to be coming from the environmental, reducing or the mitigating the environmental hazards. So we need to de-link this growth with the increased, link the growth with the increased lifestyle and also this decreased environmental benefits. This is what the platform of SDGs speaks about. Here this SDG 8 is more about decent work and the economic growth. And SDG 12 is about the sustainable consumption, production, and also it is also distribution. Here what our take is dealing with these two goals individually may lead to perverse outcomes. So here we need to look into it integrately, and we need to look into the models that can maximize the benefits. Here this shows that is how we can synergize or we can optimize the strength of SDG 8 and SDG 12. That needs integration, that needs innovation, and needs inclusion. This development is complex, but it is achievable by producing eco-materials or the vehicles that we have been discussing today morning. It is simply basically integrating the science, business, and the government to understand how we can recycle and avoid the wastes while keeping potentially hazardous substances out of the biosphere, where they could affect the human health. This is the where that is the model, we need to work on it. And here we can find this is some of the linkages between the SDGs are reversible, particularly in the goal 7 and goal 2 and goal 1, but it cannot happen in the goal 12 and the goal 8. This is basically it is a repetition of what Professor Gupta mentioned about it, how this our future consumption and future production could happen. We need growth, we need a high growth. Nobody wants growth. Basically, it is a kind of self-reliance and economy and then economic equilibrium. But we want a growth that need a kind of change in the lifestyle first. That is the circular lifestyle. If this consumption is linked to the circular lifestyle, then it will contribute for the growth. If our production is made smart, or if our production is made circular, then we can have the high growth. So this by putting emphasis and by implementing these two goals, we can go for a high growth area which is very sustainable and environmentally friendly. This is where this model of this circular economy comes. This is an alternative developmental model based on the restorative and the regenerative by design. Here we are making this linear take, make and dump kind of model into a very circular model that need a kind of a collection of the wastes, a recycling, and then consumption, changing the consumption and the distribution pattern. Here it focuses on the kind of 4 main benefits. One is the minimizing the use of the resources, reusing the product and services, and sustainable designing of the product and services. These 3, if you done, it will improve that economic efficiency and maximize the social benefits. We have calculated, particularly for the ASEAN region, particularly one sector, that is the plastic sector. That is here we find there is 3 basically strategies or the transformation strategies. One is looking at the fundamental redesign of the innovation, where there is about 30% of the potential is available. For the reuse in the case of plastic sector, it is 20%. But by innovating, by recycling with the radically improved economics and the quality, 50% can be achieved. For the 10 economies we calculated, it can produce about 7 million jobs, which is safe, clean, and green. If you look into what type of operating models that is we have, and we can see it at the 3 different levels. One is at the very micro levels, at the farmer level, or the farm level, or at the meso level, basically at the case of industrial parks and other things. And third one is basically developing a networks. And these 3 models at the 3 levels, and we can look into that production area, and we can look into the consumption area, and finally waste management area. There is a matrix exists. This matrix could be converted into an implementable business models with the right policies, with the right information, with the right empowerment of the local communities. We developed basically an indicator system. Basically, if you see that Western side of approach, basically they took into only two elements. One is the economic efficiency and the environmental, but they often forget about the social dimensions. So for this one, actually, we developed a framework, an indicator framework. It is about the 12 indicators. And if you apply this indicators framework, and we can evaluate where our weaknesses and where our strengths are. Here we applied for it, and there is a possibility for the enhancers. That is, that this enhancers for the different countries we calculated. The one is the education, second is the market efficiency, and third one is the labor market efficiency, and then financial market development. If these four things is done, and then we can have that technological readiness and the market size. This is some of the overall ratings. And this model can be applicable to India, and we can rank the states, our states, which are the progressive states that is capable of adopting this circular economic model that is environmentally sustainable and socially justifiable, and it brings the resource efficiency. And we do have the right policies. I think this government is doing a lot. Basically the drivers for this one is about the structural waste that has been produced, the raw material price that is increasing, the supply risk, and the ecosystem gradation. These are the drivers for the circular economy. At the bottom level, this is coming through this enabling environment. There is advances in the technologies, urbanization, and then acceptation of the job creation models. Finally, we do have that regulatory trends that has been emerging in India. But there is also other side of the black side of the circular economy. That is, it is not a completely win-win game. There will be a losers, and those losers has to be compensated. So we do have the job transformation, employment shifts that is going to happen if you employ this model, and this is additional jobs will be created. Basically, when this, but in the manufacturing of the recyclable and the pollution control devices, there is going to be a substitution of the jobs. Some of the jobs will be replaced, and we need to empower the communities and the labor force for it. And there may be that elimination of the jobs. That is here basically the risk lies. How we are going to absorb this informal sector and how we are going to empower them. So there is a risk, and this risk could be classified. So this is my summary, but my take-home messages. One is, by implementing the SDGs 8 and SDG 12, here the circular economy provide an opportunity. This circular economy has to be built based on the public, private, and community partnership. It cannot be done alone by the governments, not alone by the business, and not alone by the communities. It has to be an integrated approaches, but it will be a complex process, but it needs a business innovation and the technology for the consumer behavior changes. Finally, more attention is needed to develop an effective indicator system, particularly at the state level and the district level, and also the governance system that may need more decentralization of the power structure to the local governments and the authorities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Venkatachalam. You have beautifully and effectively presented your views, less than the prescribed time limit. So many, many thanks to you.